Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. We are hopping on to do a quick bonus sink to swim. And I'm going to invite Marty. I'm not going to talk while I'm doing it because the talking. Okay, let's see if she is there. She's joining us.
There we go.
Hey, Marty. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank
Good.
you.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday. So we just thought it would be really important to hop on because we got a comment that, or it was a message, right,
Yeah.
Marty? Was it a message? It was
Yeah.
a message. And this message really grabbed our attention because it's something that maybe some of us can relate to in a certain way. Um, because we all have loved ones that love us and that are going through this cancer journey with us. And they are our team. Like when I talk about when I got diagnosed, I always say we got diagnosed for some reason, or it was like a we, because it is. It's like you're going through this with somebody else that is hopefully there for you and helping you. And sometimes that person might say something that hurts your feelings with the best of intentions, because they're dealing with their own things too, but they might say something that hurts their feelings. But this comment really grabbed our attention because it's kind of an ongoing thing. And so we thought we would hop on and address it because maybe a lot of you are dealing with something similar. So I'm going to read this from one of our pink sink friends, and it says, one of my triggers is my husband finds jokes about breasts to be funny and is always showing them to me and expects me to laugh. As someone that no longer has breasts, one breast is living tissue from deep flap and one side is flat. I really struggle to look at myself, and seeing a joke about someone that has two healthy breasts is extremely painful. The reminder that I no longer have healthy breasts is painful, and so is that he is being insensitive to that loss. And that's her message. And I know our hearts just go out to our pink sink friend. And I imagine that maybe this is unfortunately somewhat of a similar situation for other people. So, Marty, help us out.
I mean, like, part of me just like feels defensive, right? This is one of my sink sisters. Like, I kind of just want to go rough this guy up a little bit. Um, Emasculation is not the answer. So we won't go there. Um, so the solution to this is actually really, really deep because we could make the conversation about boundaries. We could make the conversation about you know, talking to the loved one that is being insensitive and helping them stop the painful behavior. But that actually would be a band-aid, really, because you only receive what you already believe. And so what that means is that this gal is, you know, she's feeling sensitive and bothered, and she's already saying to herself, I don't like this isn't good. And so that's why it hurts when he's saying it to her. And so it's not quite the same as like, oh, you know, if you're driving somewhere and you're feeling triggered, let's do this breathing exercise. Let's do this self-talk. Like, this is going to be more of an ongoing thing to deal with because it boils down to what you believe about yourself and what you're saying to yourself. If we can go a little bit of brain science for a minute, our brain is constantly sorting information. It's constantly deciding if something is possible, if something is like if it pertains to you, and if it's believable. And so when we already believe something about ourselves and somebody makes a negative comment, your brain is basically going, oh, come on over. We've got a category right here for this comment. You belong right here. Um, and so there's kind of two forms of that. You can believe something and wish it weren't true and resist it and resent it, and so then it's painful, or you can believe something and accept it. If I, like, what's an example? If I look bad in red and I'm sad about that, and I really wish I could wear red, and every time I wear a red dress and it's not received well, I feel really sensitive about it. That's one way of dealing with, I just don't look good in red. The other way would be to accept it. And so, let's say I had a red work uniform. I have to wear red. I don't have a choice. And somebody's like, you really don't look good in red. If I've actually accepted that, then I'm like, yeah, I don't. And it doesn't stick, right?
I'm moving on, right?
Yeah. And so sometimes the things that trigger us, there's something about ourselves that we're still struggling to accept. And if we can really accept that about ourselves, love ourselves, accept it in ourselves, then it's not going to be as upsetting anymore. Like, would I love for this guy to stop being so insensitive to his wife? Absolutely. But for as long as she can't accept her new reality, for as long as she can't love herself in spite of it, it's going to still sting. Yeah. And even that can be a harsh thing to hear, that this is evidence of not loving yourself. Really, guys, every time we're triggered, somewhere there's evidence that we don't love ourselves. So anytime we're upset about something, this is all of us. I'm not just calling out one lady for not loving herself. All of us struggle with it. All of us, when we're feeling upset about it, if we want to go really deep, at some level, we're struggling with accepting ourselves. So this applies to all of us, but it's deep, hard work. The only way you're really going to be able to resolve other people around you being insensitive is to accept that thing instead of resenting it or being angry about it. And I say that with love. I'm not being like, meh, just accept it. Like, I know it's a journey. I know it's hard. I'm not being flippant. But that is actually the solution.
So how can you give us a little tip about how do we just start accepting it? Because I know what you're talking about. And sometimes I just have to say, like, January was a really hard month for me. Usually it's not. It was really hard. I dealt with a lot of depression in January. And usually when I hear things that could, make me feel bad, I can just let them bounce off and, oh, whatever. That reflects more on them than it does on me, right?
Yeah.
But I was dealing with depression. I could not do that. I just did not have the bandwidth to put up that barrier and let it bounce off of me. So I know what you're talking about and how hard it can be. So give us a little bit of a hint about how we can go about starting that, because I know it's deep.
Yes, it's an ongoing journey. And sometimes it's stuff that we can do on our own. Sometimes we need somebody to link arms with us and help us. But one really great way to start is get curious. Why does this bother me? And, something will come to mind. Okay, but why? Like a little kid that keeps asking why? What does that mean? Why? Get curious, because that engages a different part of your brain instead of the emotional part of you going, oh no, I'm awful, nobody loves me. Like, that's what's happening deep inside when we're upset about something. Deep inside, we're thinking, oh my gosh, nobody's going to love me. If we're getting curious and we're asking questions, that gets us into a different part of our brain. So just asking the question is going to help alleviate the emotion a little bit because it gets you in a different
Yeah,
place. But it's also going to help you start working through what it is about you that you haven't accepted. Does that make sense?
totally. I love that. And I've heard that before, but just having that instant thing to go to when you're feeling that overwhelm or that disappointment or that sadness, you can just say why. Just having that
Yeah.
one word is kind of like this life preserver that's being thrown to you, and you can just be like, no, I'm going to focus over here on why now, and I'm going to change my direction and just have an instant thing. You don't have to think deeply about it or anything. Just having that one word could be really
Yeah.
huge. And also, I just wanted to clarify, we're not saying that we shouldn't talk to our husbands or
Yeah.
whoever is making those comments. Like, for sure, say,
Yeah.
hey, honey, can you just back off on the breast jokes for now? Let's
Yeah.
not ready for those. Enjoy those on your own or something. But you're right. Like, we can't predict all of the comments or jokes that could be possibly said, and so we
Yeah.
have to be ready ourselves and strengthen ourselves to deal with it, right?
Yeah. I've said before, it really stinks to be a mortal among mortals. Like we can't have like this perfect sanitary experience where I get to learn and grow and everybody else has their stuff together so I don't have to deal with their
Right.
stuff. So, yeah, have the conversation with your husband, have the conversation with the loved one that isn't being sensitive, but that's not the whole solution. You are going to have to do some inside
Yeah.
work because stuff's still going to
Right.
happen.
We can't control anybody else.
Yeah.
We can't control anything else. We can only control ourselves in
Yeah.
the long run. Yeah, that's a good point. I love that. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Marty. Anything else you want to
Yeah.
add?
Um, I mean, it's a point that I think I'm going to make often. Be patient with yourself. The changes, you know, you can make a decision in your brain and it takes some time for your body to catch up. And so if somebody says something that's insensitive and you're like, that makes me feel bad, that's going to be your body's knee-jerk reaction, but you don't have to stay there. You can be like, yeah, sweetheart, that felt yucky, but we're working on the real truth about ourselves so we don't have to own this silliness.
Right. Yes.
Just give yourself some grace while your body and your brain are getting to the same place.
Yes. I love that. We're not going to be able to just say, oh, now I know how to deal with that, and I'm never going to feel hurt again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And that's not a failing on your part
Right.
that it takes time.
Yes. But at least we have a tool to start using,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And also, like I was saying at the beginning, our loved ones, whether that's a husband or a sister or a friend or whoever it is, like I said, they're going through this with us and they're dealing with their own set of struggles with it. So,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
saying, give grace and give ourselves grace too. But I loved that comment that you made at the beginning. We only receive what we believe.
Yes.
Love that comment. That's something to really think about. And maybe, why is this hurting me? Am I receiving this because I'm believing this? And why do I believe that? The
Yeah.
curiosity, the
Yeah.
why. I love it. Wonderful. Okay, again, you guys, if you want to go deeper with this with Marty, just reach out to her at MARTI Grant. Then what's the rest of it? .com.
MartyGrant.com.
Oh, you kind of cut out.
Okay.
MartyGrant.com, right?
MartyGrant.com. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. And then please leave comments. Let us know what you think, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Okay. Bye.